Hi. It's been like what? I don't have a watch. It's been like probably like a year, probably just under a year since the last episode of this podcast. But I miss you guys, and I feel like I've gone through a lot of changes in the last like 10 months. And this is kind of a little update on my life and where I'm at in the creative journey, trying to become a creator full time. It's been my goal for years now. But now I'm in the thick of it. So we'll get into that. But I also want to apologize for the long hiatus. It wasn't planned at all. It just kind of naturally happened. And but in the process, we have just recently, as of this episode, rebranded the podcast as far as logo and banner photo goes, and probably some animations that I'll make after recording this to go into this the podcast episodes going going further. Sorry, it's been a while since I've been a podcaster. Things have been very interesting since we left off in my weird little journey. Also, as I'm blabbering away, feel free to comment in the comment section below and tell me about your creative process and journey and how things have been going. Have things changed for you? I would love to hear some updates from you guys, or if you've never really commented before, I'd love to get to know you and get to know everyone who's listening, because we're kind of all in the same boat, essentially. You know, whether we have full-time jobs or not, whether we've gone to school for a specific thing or not, we are all creative people trying to live in a world that requires money, and in so doing, we want to do what we love for a living without burning out. Which I have burnt out so many times. I think the last time that we left off, I was working as a full-time graphic designer / like videographer / video editor for marketing. Nothing really crazy. It sounds more interesting and professional up front. But to me, it kind of was very like a corporate job. Definitely great people I worked with, but it got to a point where I just felt like I wanted a way out. I had no way out of this job, and I wasn't about to quit and leave it because although in the back of my mind, I wanted to have such a time where I could get away from having to work and just work full time on my YouTube channel, because I felt like, man, if I just had 3 months, I can make this whole thing happen. That's foreshadowing, by the way. So that comes into play a little bit later. I kind of got overworked and overloaded with the things I was trying to do because, fun fact about me, I have really good intentions, but I tend to take on way too much all at once. And another fun fact about me, the way I cope with things, as I've realized as time has passed on, I cope with things by procrastinating. Instead of dealing with a problem or finding a solution to an issue or doing what I'm supposed to do, I will really just kind of deflect everything and just go into procrastination mode. And it's funny because a lot of things I procrastinate, it's not that I don't enjoy doing them, like whether it's like photography or making YouTube videos or whatever, or this podcast, for instance. It's not that I don't like doing it. It's that I just have to learn a different method of dealing with that. So I'm going to work on that. I promise you from here on out, I'm definitely something I'm planning on doing is working on being consistent. I think that's a huge aspect that I think would be a huge turnaround for me. That principle itself, just being consistent and posting and just not overthinking things would be great. So that's why the podcast is coming back. It helps me a ton. I started live streaming on TikTok again. I used to stream on Twitch and stuff too, but I've taken a huge break from everything. But anyway, getting back to like the little story leading up to the updates. So I felt like there was no reason for me to leave my job that was reasonable. Like, yeah, I could just quit, but that seems irresponsible. And, that's a lot of, I didn't realize the amount of pressure that would feel until later in the circumstance I'm in right now. But something happened where it was like the stars aligned. I was able to actually get a full-time job from a friend of a friend who has a YouTube channel, and they had 500,000 subscribers. And really, really cool opportunity. It just, the stars aligned. I was in a good place to do that, and they were also in a good spot to begin hiring. I was their first hire, and I was brought on as a video editor, and like, I guess you could kind of call it like a sort of like slash assistant producer ish kind of person. I mean, I don't want to like give myself titles or anything, but that's what it felt like. I was editing videos and helping produce some like short form content, because that's what I'm really good at on TikTok and stuff. So I was helping them with that for their channel, and yeah, and it was great. I really, really loved it. I felt like I finally was. It's as if I had like finally woken up in life, and I was like, wow, is this what it feels like to enjoy something? Because as far as things go for me, my dream job is to be my own content creator, like have my own YouTube channel full time and work on my own thing. But this job was like, okay, yeah, it's not my channel, but it was like it was like an internship where I can learn a lot of stuff, and I could also experience what it's like to have a YouTube channel without the all the weight on my shoulders, basically. Because I didn't have to handle all the business side of things. I just handled the production side of things, right? And so that was really great. And it's just really, really exciting. And how to actually, I'm a Windows user. So they use iOS, Mac. And so I was given a MacBook Pro and had to learn Final Cut Pro, which I'm a Premiere Pro user from Adobe. And so very similar program, but basically just very different way of doing things. And so it took me a few weeks to kind of get up to speed with everything. But I feel like I actually learned it pretty quickly, and kind of getting on to speed with how we work with each other, because I was the first hire. So it was kind of interesting at first to figure out what's the dynamic here, what's the what does the workload feel like per week. It's just very new for both people. Like, we've both never done this before. And after 5 weeks, I felt like I finally got to a point where I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm like, now I feel like I'm established. I know the software that I'm using. I know how to use a Mac now, which feels dumb, but Windows user full time of my life. It's just something different. But I finally felt comfortable with most things and with their style of video production and editing. And then I come in one day to hand off a video that I was editing. And yeah, I was let go. And that really was a sucker punch to me. I didn't feel it in the moment, because in the moment I was still trying to process what had just happened. And, and this is after me, like, having, when I got the new job, I was able to leave my other job, and I just felt free. Like, for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was free. Starting this new job was nerve-wracking, but after I got the hang of it and started realizing the potential of the job and like what it actually looked like day to day, I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. Like, I can work from home most of the time, and just like it's my skill set. I feel like I'm actually a professional in what I'm doing, and I felt so happy. Like, I had like tears of joy some days where I'm just like, this can't be real. Well, it's not going to be real for very long, little guy, and the story I'm just telling past me. But yeah, it ended, and it really sucked. I felt kind of like it's if something amazing had happened and just I got the rug ripped out from underneath me. And it was strange though, because as soon as I was being let go, as the words were being said that I was being let go, I thought in the back of my mind, holy crap, this is it. Like, optimism built up in the back of my mind. And I thought, this is it. This is the opportunity where I don't have to work for anybody, and I can try to make my YouTube channel thing work. And for some reason, that's what kept me going. I was also trying to process that it actually happened and I just lost my job. And that was also developing in the back of my mind, where for some reason it was the forefront of my mind, but also I was like, holy crap, I just lost my job. holy crap, I have freedom, but holy crap, I lost my job. And the weirdest combination of feelings. And it was really hard. I went through emotions of feeling angry and depressed, situational depression. Uh, and I went through those two moods of feeling angry, literally like punching my pillow and crying and feeling like I had just lost the biggest opportunity that had ever come to me. And I felt like I didn't, it just was so much of a stress because I feel like I just gotten the job and I just gotten used to everything. And I felt like, what are my next steps right now? Like, yes, I still have the optimism up in the forefront of my mind of this could be it, that I finally have all the time in the world to dedicate to my channel and to my content. But, at the same time, I was still just like processing. It was like grieving the loss of something super amazing for me. And because my dream job and the job I had just lost were right there. My dream job was to have my own channel, but right underneath it was so close to, it wasn't my own channel, but it was so close to my dream job that I could have been very happy there for a while I was working on my YouTube channel on the side, because it was like an internship. I was being assisted and shown a lot of really cool things behind the scenes of a successful YouTube channel that kind of helped me plan and learn some different things for my own channel. And yeah, it was great. But yeah, so literally that day I sat down and I was like, all right. So I got up and I filmed a YouTube video, started editing. It's kind of funny. And it was almost like out of spite. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make this work. Like, yeah, like this happened for a reason, right? And so I started filming vlogs every day of me trying to become a content creator. And those became a little bit sporadic because some days, like not as much happened or there wasn't really anything interesting to film per se. But the days that I did film these little vlogs from my phone were really helpful because it helped me stay on task. And it was kind of like almost like, oh, well, I'm vlogging today. I already started the vlog. I already have half the day filmed. I need to keep going. So I need to keep putting stuff in the vlog so I feel like I'm accomplished. And those really helped me because at the end of the day, I could look at them and realize, wow, I did quite a bit. Because, working for yourself and not for an employer, you only answer to yourself. And so the vlogs were kind of a form of being responsible and answering to myself basically and to other people that may be watching. And the vlogs also, just transparency, are a tactic to try to help people spread the message of what I'm doing and hopefully get on board with my channel, subscribe and watch my videos. So it's basically kind of like a marketing campaign, essentially, if you really boil it down. Other people have done similar things, so you probably make the connections there and kind of realize how useful that can be. But that's kind of the plan. And I've been kind of sporadic with the vlogs here and there, but I do plan on still making them. Yeah, and so I just kind of went through a few waves of feeling depressed because I was depressed at first because I lost my job and I was in this new situation that it wasn't by choice that I was there, but also like I wanted to be there now because I was like, okay, well, now it's my chance to do it. And so I went through that wave, and then there was a second wave that came of like situational depression where I felt overwhelmed by looking at my analytics every day and realizing the daunting task of like the quality of videos I'm gonna have to make and the type of marketing and trying to find people to subscribe to my channel, like get the word out on TikTok and stuff. And just kind of realizing the daunting task of feeling like, well, what kind of videos should I make? Should I niche down and make a specific type of video for YouTube? That sounds like the smartest direction to go, because get known for something, so that way eventually I can branch out and do all the other things that I want to do with my YouTube channel. But maybe right now I'm working on VR content. Maybe I'll just make VR videos. But I also want to be known for like some art. But also I love like making videos in general, and I just want to make fun videos where maybe I'm going out and asking people strangers questions on the street, just making that kind of content. And so I'm still kind of a little bit torn and pulled in different directions, but I am trying to niche down my channel so that way it feels a little more cohesive when someone comes on it, because I know from a perspective of someone who watches YouTube, a lot of YouTube, it's nice to go on a channel and you kind of consider subscribing because you've seen, oh, I've watched like 3 videos of theirs that's a tutorial on this specific thing, or they do this specific type of video and I think it's really cool, versus me, where it's like, well, this guy does some VR. He also does some like animation too. I guess he kind of does some of this and that. But at the end of the day, all my videos are still going to be kind of a variety of content, but I'm working on trying to get that figured out. But yeah, if you guys follow me on my other YouTube channel, I'd love to hear too in the comments if what do you guys think of my channel? Because I have a hard time seeing it from your guys' perspective. So let me know what kind of content you watch on my channel if you do, and if you think the channel's cohesive or not, or I don't know, what are your recommendations for me based on what you've seen? I'm open for other opinions because only mine isn't a great source of information because I'm biased because I am myself. But yeah, and so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I've been unemployed for a while, or in between jobs, if you want to phrase it kindly. I went through, those waves of being sad and pulled out of it. Going on walks helped me a ton, and just kind of like sort of like meditating, and that really kind of helped me get out of everything. And also going on walks and listening to Minecraft music, by the way, is, I don't know what it was, but at the time, very, very helpful and very much needed. So I'm really grateful that I was able to get through that stuff, and I had friends and stuff I could talk to, and so it helped me a ton to kind of gain perspective, build myself back up, and jump back on the horse and keep making videos and content. And even today has been one of those days where it feels kind of overwhelming, and I feel kind of like for some reason I can't like move forward or like make the video that I'm planning on making right now. But right now, as far as my plans go for the channel, I recently have done a VR video review on a game on the Oculus Quest called Bone Lab, and it was mostly animated. And so that was an interesting combination of two things, like a story time animation and also a VR review. So trying to kind of appeal to the people who have subscribed for VR, which is majority of the people on my channel, and also animation, because I love doing art, and that's kind of, I want to squeeze more of my personality and creativity into the video. So I thought doing a VR review that was animated would be kind of interesting, and I think it worked quite well. And so now I'm looking at doing a few animated videos, just pure animation of, storytime animations, or just talking about things here and there that weird thoughts I have that I can make into like a funny video. Yeah. And I think kind of what sparked it too was I restarted my webcomic, which is called Zach's Doodles on Webtoons. If you want to check it out, the link will be below and you can click on the webtoon. But yeah, I kind of rebooted that up, renamed it, because it used to be called like Poorly Drawn Comics, because that was before I was just getting into digital art, and I had like the worst setup for digital art, and I didn't know how to do it, so I just did it poorly. So that's why I called it Poorly Drawn Comics, as a way to not like be overly perfectionist about it or feel like I have to know everything to make a comic. But now with a lot of experience and using an iPad, thank goodness, that's the thing that saved me from my old setup. But yeah, with a lot more experience, I feel a lot more skilled and trained to make, simple webtoon comics, and making those made me want to, well, maybe I should make like an animated character like I've always wanted to do for some YouTube videos. And that's where the combination of the VR review and my animated character came into play and turned into what it was. So yeah, I'm still working on the style and the animation. I'm still learning animation as I go, but I think it's been really nice. So I'm gonna continue going forward. I'm gonna try a little bit of that and see how it goes and see how people respond. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm kind of giving myself till maybe like the beginning of next year, 2023, before I kind of basically have to look for a job. I have enough money saved up right now to be able to pursue YouTube full time without having to, also work a full time job. So yeah, my time is valuable, and that's why it kind of stresses me out, because I feel like if I waste a few hours or a day, it feels like, it's so disheartening. And so I'm working on being productive, but not burning myself out. So basically all the same things that I've always dealt with my whole life. But now's the time to kind of address those things, not expect myself to be perfect, but to expect improvements here and there. Yeah. And also too, this beginning of this year, 2022, I started doing wedding films. This is another subplot of my life. But I had about 3 friends that I knew that year that were getting married. And so I was like, hey, like I've always wanted to get into like wedding films, and that type of content's really interesting to me. And so I was like, will you let me like make you for your wedding gift, like make a wedding film? So I started doing that. And the first one turned out really good. Even though I was filming in the wrong frame rate, which I usually film, for those people who might not know, most movies are in, this is just a quick little nerd video segment. But most movies, if you watch a movie or a TV show, they're typically filmed in 24 frames a second. And if you see high res, like slow-mo videos, those are typically shot in a higher frame rate. So that way, when they're slowed down to 24 frames a second, it is slow-mo, because you have all those frames to fill up the 24 frames a second. But because there's a lot of them, it is slowed down. And so typically I film wedding films in 60 frames per second. So that gives me like about 2 times slow speed when I put it down into a 24 frames a second project in my computer. So it's got those nice, elegant wedding, cinematic slow-mo, they're kissing or they're hugging or they're dancing, just cute stuff. And, I've learned a ton. I had upgraded my lens on my camera. I'm using a Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter lens with, if you don't care about this stuff, don't worry. I'm not going to go into it, but I do have an ND filter and a Pro Mist 1/4 strength filter. It's on my camera right now. It's what I'm filming with, but it looks really good outside, especially during like golden hour. Amazing stuff. But I had learned a lot and I'd upgraded my equipment. And so I was prepared to film those weddings. And as I went, I was able to get at least 2 paid gigs, which were amazing. I traveled to Utah for some of my friends' weddings, and so that was really fun to film in a different location. I had bought a gimbal, like a whole vest that stabilizes my camera. I look like an absolute nerd or a tank or human tank. I don't really know which one, but it's been really great. And I feel like my films have turned out really good. I've learned a lot about color grading, especially from my last job doing being a YouTube editor for that channel that I had mentioned before previously. So I felt like my skills had improved like a ton, and it was really cool. And that's still something I'm pursuing. And in filming one of the weddings too, I was also asked to take photos while I was also filming the wedding. But I started taking photos, and I kind of remembered, I was like, you know what? I actually miss taking photos. So my love of photography exploded again. And I really love photography. I'd forgotten how much I missed it. And so yeah, now I also have a separate account on Instagram called Zach Mementos. So that will also be linked in my bio if you want to consider following that. And if you're interested in art, or I do some family portraits and stuff like that now too. But yeah, it's like a side business that I'm hoping will take off, especially with wedding films, because that's pretty profitable if you research it a little bit. You'll kind of come to know that this is kind of a huge market and nobody's doing it. I've asked photographers here in Arizona where I live and in Utah, and both have said no one's doing wedding videos anymore. You're like the only person I know. So I'm very hopeful, fingers crossed, that I can be the head of that market for wedding films, and hopefully more people want wedding films, because I love video. It's awesome. I think it's a great way to capture memories rather than only in photos. And it's been so fun working with photographers too. I've learned so much from them. But yeah, and I wouldn't mind if that was like a side gig for me to supply me money to be able to afford to keep pursuing YouTube as a full-time career. So yeah, now I'm here, and today I also realized that I'm just very appreciative because I'd forgotten about, because the podcast was always kind of on my mind. I was like, I need to get back to it, but I hadn't looked at it. I hadn't logged into the channel in a long time, and I came back to it. I did the rebrand on everything visually, and I kind of realized, I was like, you know, this is awesome that I even have like 200 subscribers on just this podcast. And I have 2,000 right now on my personal YouTube channel. And I'm like, this is so cool. And I also have like my photography account, and I can do photos and wedding videos. I'm like, there's so many different things that I can do right now. And, obviously I'm not like, this isn't like a gloat or anything. It's just like kind of realizing and being appreciative of like the things that I have versus the things that I don't have. And, yeah, I'm just kind of really grateful for you guys for subscribing. And I'm grateful to, have built some things over time that I kind of took for granted. And now I'm kind of remembering, this is great. This is exactly what I want. A career that has multiple incomes, multiple places to grow. And I get to pursue different things. And I'm not just doing the same thing over and over again. So yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at right now. And I'm very happy with what I have. And still struggling to adapt to this new lifestyle that I'm trying to live to create content consistently. But I am really excited for the potential. Even the growth that I've experienced in this like last month has been amazing. And it's definitely been a lot slower than I want, because we always want everything here now. I want 100,000 subscribers now. I snap my fingers and have a viral video or something. But I know a lot of these things sometimes might take some time, but as long as I don't quit, even if I take long breaks like from this podcast, like I've done, which I hope not to do again, I can always come back and I can always keep making stuff and posting it. Because after all, the biggest thing that I think I consistently remember from my art history classes is the first art history class I took, where they talked about some of the first primitive art that we know of were in caves, right? And for me as an artist, someone who creates not only just like art or drawing illustrations, but also like video or anything creative that you make and post, the parallels are there. The first artists that were drawing on cave walls and stuff were doing it to illustrate and share a story or to leave their mark on the world. And in the same sense, that's what I'm doing and a lot of us are doing. Social media plays a huge role in what we do. Again, we can just draw on our sketchbooks, put it on the shelf and never show anybody, but or make videos for that matter, make them and never show to anybody. But there is a place in the creative process, at least for me, that I found that just like those early artists, sharing your artwork or your creative things that you have produced to the world is part of that creative process. It's fulfilling. It's the cycle. Once you share it and post it, then you feel free from whatever you just made, whether it was perfect or it could use some improvements. You feel like you can let go of that piece of art and move on to the next thing, because as humans, we keep pushing forward. Because it's something interesting that I've been working on too, where, you either live in the past or you live in the future. And a lot of times it's hard to live in the present, because the present's the only thing that matters. You're present in life, and you're making choices presently based off of your past, of things you've learned and know, and also future plans and goals that you're reaching for, right? And so you use both the past and the future in a productive way. But for me, I've always struggled to be present and using the future and past as influential things to decide my present. And so as humans, we always have to move on. If we linger too long on a project or some piece of art we're making, it can be debilitating, and we never get to move on from that, learn from our experiences, and keep moving forward, because everything we make is going to have some sort of form of mistake or whatever. And for me, it's just about constantly making stuff, posting it, and moving forward and learning from it, whether or not I realize I'm learning from it or not. Because over time, naturally, we get better at things. Our ability to see things becomes better, to understand things becomes better. We get more wise, we get more knowledge. And so, yeah, that's kind of where I'm standing at right now, and kind of where my head's at right now, at least recording this podcast. But I am really excited to be back. It feels so good to be recording a podcast where I don't have to worry so much about editing unless my camera cuts out after 30 minutes, which just happened a couple minutes ago. If you didn't notice, there was a cut. I have like 30-minute record limit on this thing, so it's kind of annoying, but it is what it is for right now. But I'm really grateful for you guys, for the support I've been able to receive, and for the help that you guys have been. I have been back and forth on being extremely excited and very worried and feeling overwhelmed and daunted by what I'm trying to do. But I know that it will work out, and hindsight's 2020. In the future me will be definitely like, yeah, dude, like it works out. It's all good. Present me is like concerned. But yeah, I'm very grateful for all of you guys' support, and for all of you who have followed me on both my personal accounts and this podcast. And yeah, I'm going to be working on trying to try to maybe interview some more people. But as of right now, I'll just be coming on here from time to time in between interviews or before interviews happen, just to kind of catch up with all you guys. Give you guys a cool podcast to listen to while you're working on your own projects or making art. But yeah, making art or working on something while listening is highly encouraged. Or maybe you're just driving around and you got some time to burn. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. It has been way too long, and I do apologize for the delay. But we're back, and I'm going to try to make this whole thing work again. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the rebrand. Let me know in the comments. And that's pretty much it. I'm kind of sad to end it. I don't want to say goodbye. But we'll be back. Many more episodes to come. So have some pretty cool people that I was talking to interview before I accidentally went on a hiatus without intending to. So we got some really cool people to interview that I'll have to see if they even remember me months after messaging them. But we're going to schedule those interviews and see if we can get it going. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, week, whatever the time is that you're listening to this. And catch you guys in the next one. Peace.